Hello and welcome back to ParkLife Sport's roundup of UFC London. Dylan, straight away, what are your thoughts?
What a card! It was brilliant. It was a brilliant day of fights, and yeah, great for the scene in the UK. There was a lot of success for English and UK. Despite what happened, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that anyway. Yeah. So, the main results of the fight card were obviously Masvidal viciously knocking out Darren Till in the main event. No one was really expecting that, but no. Masvidal is a veteran, so but yeah, as you say, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards defeated Gunnar Nelson. I mean, brilliant for Edwards. I think that's a 7-fight win streak now.
7th win in a row.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Nathaniel Wood submitted Quinones. I mean, this guy's got a bright future ahead of him.
Very bright. He was a two-time Cage Warriors champ, and yeah, he looks like he could have a real future in the UFC.
Yeah, I think that's 8 wins in a row for him as well now.
Yeah.
Arnold won by a unanimous decision, versus Jordan Rinaldi. Rinaldi very well known for his ground game, so to get a good win against him, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then obviously Meatball Molly McCann, the first English UFC woman to win in the UFC.
And her win really set up a great day of fights. Really, it was a brilliant win.
So straight off into the main event deal.
Yeah.
We've got Darren Till versus Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the result we were expecting, was it? I mean, talk me through what you were thinking as the fight went on.
No, it was really disappointing. I mean, when the atmosphere when Darren Till came out to Sweet Caroline was immense, absolutely immense. That's the first thing I want to say, is that the London crowd really showed up, and yeah, they put on a great show. But really disappointing. I mean, it started controversially with Masvidal coming out and kicking him straight where you're not allowed to kick. No, yeah, let's just say that.
Move straight away.
But then straight off that, Darren Till finds his feet, gets his breath back, and with his first punch knocks him to the ground, and you're thinking this could be routine work for Darren Till. He said that he wanted a quick finish, he said he wanted a first round finish, and after a first punch knocks someone down, you really thought that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see that Till came out, you know, expecting to hit him with one punch, and he did. And then obviously round 2 comes along, and
all we've got to say is what a warrior Masvidal is. Yeah. I mean, that punch, he looked like he smiled when he hit the ground when he got hit with that punch, and then to come back and in the second round produce the knockout that he did, it was devastating blow for Darren Till, and really disappointed for him.
I mean, Masvidal's such a brawler, isn't he? He was never going to get really beaten by one punch. I think we all knew that, but I mean, at the same time, we all know the striking ability of Darren Till, and it was such an exciting fight building up to it, and to get that result, I mean, like you say, English fans might not be too happy, but I mean, they will be entertained at the very, very least.
I mean, that's what he said afterwards. He said, are you not entertained? This is knockout of the night.
And we've got VT to show how entertained some of the fans were.
Let's see.
Look at this reaction.
Let's see how entertained they were.
In the crowd. That is exactly the face I pulled as well.
That is
exactly the same.
She summed up the emotions of a nation there. Really did.
Anyway, moving on. So Edwards versus Nelson. This was the co-main event. Obviously, building up to this fight, Edwards felt that he should have been in the main event with Darren Till. Yeah,
he really wanted that Till fight, and it would have. I still do believe that would have been a great event for English MMA. 2 up and coming stars. One that's just come off the back of a title shot. It would have been brilliant, but he proved himself again. Yeah,
I mean, Gunnar Nelson, I'm a massive fan of his. I think he's an excellent wrestler, great on the ground.
Yeah.
He obviously trains with Conor McGregor, if some of you don't know that, so he's definitely in the gym every day with one of the best in the world. So for Edwards to get a win against him, you know,
it was a brilliant win, and he's had quite a few wins, some against some calibre of opponents that people aren't too impressed with, but then he's just come back off beating Cowboy and now Gunnar Nelson. So they're two of the most experienced welterweights in the division, so fair play to him, 7-fight win streak, and he's going towards a title shot, and that's exactly what he wants.
Well, do you think that's what's next for him, or do you think he'll maybe get one more fight, and if he wins that's the title shot? Because it is a very, very stacked division.
I mean, before anything happened, he said that if he wins, which he was sure he was going to, he wants to fight the winner of Till Masvidal. So that would quite clearly be a fight that I'd be.
Yeah, and clearly they both want the fight.
Yeah, I mean, after what we saw happen backstage, yeah.
Yeah, so let's go on to that, shall we?
Yeah, so
first off,
on Leon Edwards' Instagram, he put up that he was very happy with his performance. He thinks that 2019 is going to be his year and he could become a world champion. And then he did address the backstage altercation. He said that fair play to Jorge for sneaking his shots in when he could, but to put it nicely, he said if it weren't for the security, he'd have had no hope.
No way of making it back to the US.
No way of making it back to the US, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, Dana White told ESPN that he could not believe that the backstage fight happened. We need to do a much better job of making sure this stuff doesn't happen at any of our events again.
Yeah.
However, I think that is strikingly similar to what he said after the McGregor bus attack last year. I mean, for exact quote is, "This is the most disgusting thing that has ever happened in the history of the company." Yet the UFC spent months flaunting footage of that bus attack.
Yeah, they used it in their promo.
For publicity. So, yeah, I mean, you can see why Dana White has come out and said that he wasn't happy about it, but at the same time, he loves it.
It's a little bit hypocritical, yeah.
There's perfect promotion for that fight now.
Look,
and that fight surely will happen.
Yeah, controversy builds fights and it builds hype for fights. So, I mean, as much as a lot of people won't like it, this will gain a bigger audience, and it sets up this fight with Masvidal and Edwards perfectly.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't seen it, here's a look at what happened backstage.
Let's talk about that opening sequence.
Maybe not. If you shot, hey, come over here, say it in my face.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Okay, so that.
So, just to quickly go through what Masvidal's words were after, you know, he spoke to an interviewee after this altercation. Just very quickly, I'm just going to say that Masvidal claimed that he walked towards Edwards with his hand behind his back, not trying to cause any fights. And then when Edwards returned by walking towards him like that, that's when Masvidal threw the first punch. He doesn't actually feel he should be charged or penalised because Edwards was the one that initiated it, even though Masvidal clearly threw the first punch.
I
What's your
mean,
thoughts?
I think that Masvidal's being ridiculous there, if I'm honest. I mean, he walks with his hands behind his back, but what does that mean? Straight away. I mean, Edwards had his hands like that, so what? I mean, that is how fighters pose up against each other all the time.
Exactly.
So I don't think that is fair, and I don't think Edwards expected to be hit and cut like he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on from the main event then, we don't have time to go through all the fights, but we're just going to talk about the English fighters or the British fighters. So next up we're going to talk about this man here, Nathaniel Wood, the prospect. What a very exciting fighter he is looking to be.
Really exciting, and another great win. He's third in the UFC now and his 8th in a row. So yeah, he's looking really, really good in that bantamweight division, and I think you could see a lot of big things from the local London lad.
Yeah, he was excellent on the feet and on the ground in the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Quinones is very much a known fighter for his wrestling and grappling and doing well in a less dominant position on the floor.
Yeah.
So an excellent bit of work from him.
Yeah, it was a brilliant performance, and the crowd again gave him such a good reaction, which was great to see.
Yeah, and he also said that he was upset he didn't get the knockout.
Yeah, so I think based on that, what he wants a quick rise, and he wants to get his name in the headlines quickly, and you do that through big, impressive finishes. And it was still a dominant performance, and I think he can only be proud of himself.
Yeah, and like you say, it was a dream come true in front of his home crowd, a South London lad.
Yeah, brilliant
Excellent
for him.
stuff. Yeah, next up we've got Arnold Allendale.
Yes, Arnold Allen indeed.
Another excellent win for Allen. Much more dominant, almost flawless performance really.
Yeah, he barely got hit, did he?
Yeah, I mean, he in the post-fight interview, he apologised for a boring fight, in some might say, but that was only because he has been compared to Cody Garbrandt in the sense that he gets a bit too hasty, tries to get the finish way too early, and sometimes that can backfire.
Yeah.
So it was a lot more controlling.
He was trying to. He even said it. He was trying to prove a point. He was trying to show that he does have the skill and the ability to stay in there and dominate and dictate fights, and that's exactly what he did. So it was a great win.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a big future ahead of him as well, doesn't he? I mean, he's 16-3 now, and he's undefeated in the UFC. So
definitely.
Only ways up for him.
Definitely got a big future, and I think you can expect a lot of big things from Arnold Allen. So the future of English MMA is looking very bright.
Yeah. And now, last but not least.
Well, we've got
Go on.
We've got Meatball Molly to speak of quick, because what a performance. She started off the night. It was an absolute brawl from start to finish.
Yeah.
Really, she just took some massive hits. I mean,
the eyes. Look at the eye.
The picture of her eye.
Yeah.
It was incredible. We'll get that up now. And yeah, it was a brawling. It was a performance that you can only take positives out of, because she gave it her all and she came out on top at the end of a really intense fight.
And a massive comeback win after obviously losing in her hometown of Liverpool.
Yeah, that must have been really hard to get back from, to be fair.
And this now makes her the first ever English fighter to win in the UFC.
Yeah, the English female fighter to win in the UFC. Yeah, it's a brilliant feat for her, and hopefully it will see the rise of more English female fighters.
Exactly. So just before we round up, we've got to have a special mention to this man. Michael Bisping has been inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, and in my opinion, I don't think any other Brit has deserved it more than him.
No.
I mean, what a career he's had.
I mean, he's more deserving than the likes of McGregor and whatnot. He's a champion. He was so entertaining. Great trash talk all the time throughout his career. Beat some of the best fighters in the world. Beat Anderson Silva
in London.
Amazing. He is a complete legend. So deserving of that, and now a great pundit as well. So congratulations to you, Michael Bisping.
Congratulations. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to our roundup of UFC London. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, bring it on. Cheers.